Greetings and welcome to the Lighthouse Show. I'm your host, Empress Niger. Today's guest in the Lighthouse name stands for Seek Knowledge or Only Lose. If you don't know who I'm talking about, stay tuned. You'll find out in just a moment. Skool is in the Lighthouse.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome, Skool. It's a pleasure having you here. Right off the bat, let's talk about a bachelor degree in history, master's in education, full-time teacher, personal trainer. You write stories, poetry, rap. I mean, where do you find the time?
It's just, I'm always grinding, always doing something. I can't stay still, don't really watch much TV, so I'm either playing sports or doing something beneficial for my knowledge, for someone else's knowledge, doing what I can.
Absolutely. I know you definitely couldn't be watching TV. I mean, to do so many things. Trust me, I want to take a chapter out of your book. You have here what stood out to me the most when I read your information. If we don't demand better of ourselves, how can we possibly demand better treatment from others?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that.
Well, that comes from something that I was inspired from the Trayvon Martin story, where we had a lot of people who were speaking out about clear injustices that do exist. But to me, I'm all about self-control. What have you brought to the situation?
Exactly.
So if we're not demanding better of our rappers, we're not demanding better of our students, then how can we ask other people to treat us better? So I think our focus should be on ourselves, our community, see what we can do to help the situation before we start demanding better from other people.
Absolutely. There's definitely strength in unity.
Yes.
And another thing that you spoke about also, where a lot of times we focus when the crime is on another party, on our race. But when you look at it, to be honest, you have so much black on black crimes where we're killing each other, and it's just really sad, but it doesn't get broadcasted. But we need to look within ourselves and do our own soul searching, like you said. And then I really commend you for that, because that really, when I said to you, stuck out to me.
Yes, I definitely feel that way. Even the next weekend after the Trayvon Martin situation, there was a mass murder at a funeral home. And there was no marches within the black community. There were no T-shirts brought up. Nobody asking for that victim's family to have justice from the perpetrator.
Absolutely.
The same way that would happen any other way if another race came in and did it. So I really feel like we have to demand better. It's not right for anybody to lose their life. So whoever is the murderer needs to go to jail and needs to be looked at as a person who did something wrong, not as a person who should be glorified.
Absolutely. So we have to start that with the children while they're young. We can't wait for them to get 30 years old and try to bend them into that. But let's dig more into your music.
Okay.
Now, where do you find your style of writing? Do you just have that free flow, or how do you come up with your stanzas? Because when I listen to your music, trust me, you captivate me.
Thank you. Honestly, I feel bad when I write anything down that really makes no sense, that has no purpose. If every word I say doesn't have a purpose, I feel like I need to go back and make some changes. And it's honestly, it just comes to me all at once. I can be doing anything, and I could get 5 minutes worth of words in my head in 2 seconds. I don't know how it happens, why it happens, but writing is just a gift of mine. I can just sit down and start writing, and I keep going, and I need very little editing. It all just keeps coming and coming, but then it stops, and I can't ask it to come back. It just comes back when it feels like it.
Wow. So some have that gift, and like myself, I don't. So I'll have the gift of gab. I'll keep it with that.
All right, that works.
So when did you first start writing, though?
Actually, I always was told I was good in elementary school, middle school, and I was a very good student as a kid. And then as a teenager, I just started trying to have fun. And I still was good at writing, but when I was in the Army and I went to Afghanistan, it was really not much to do. So a lot of me and my friends would freestyle, and we would just write stuff down. And since then, I've just had collections of little slips of paper or cell phone notes or things all over the house that I probably lost way more than I have. But I'm just always writing stuff down.
Wow. How does your music reflect on your life?
I would say I would be willing to vouch for every word I've ever recorded. There's nothing I ever say in a song that I couldn't stand in front of someone and explain why I said it.
Mhm.
So I think my music is my life. It just shows you who I am, what I think about, and what I really believe.
Truly. All right. How do you feel when you're writing your music? That motivation, that headspace.
Well, it comes at different times. Sometimes I'll have a beat, and then I'll be thinking, well, how can I make this beat into a
Mhm.
song? And sometimes I'll have words, and I'm like, how can I find a beat that matches these words? So it just depends on the situation, what's going on in my life, whether it's women problems that everybody has, or great times that everybody has, or bad times. Whatever's going on in my life sometimes just comes out in songs. And sometimes it happened a long time ago, and now I finally found a beat that will match it and let me express it.
Okay, because I also read back in the days where you use your poetry side of you to find interest in the females, and that was like the Lord to just draw them in.
Yes, you remember those notes where you put the boxes, yes or no? And that was a gift I had. I mean, I wasn't good going up to them and talking to them, but I could write them a note, and it was always a note that they would like. So I always use my words with the ladies.
You use your words wisely. Besides music, do you have any other interest?
Well, number one in my life is education. Always, every day, and but that doesn't separate it from music, because my music, I feel like, can educate.
Absolutely.
I love sports. I like football and rugby. I feel like, especially rugby, is a sport that can teach a person to be a man, to teach about the value of a team and the value of the people around you and what you can do to help move that team forward. So I really believe in that.
Wow. Where do you draw your inspiration?
My inspiration comes from real and fictional characters. I look at men like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, people who believe something so strongly that they're willing to do anything to scream it to anybody who's willing to listen. But then, I mean, fictional characters, I think, play a really big role, even though they're based on true characters. When you look at Joe Clark from Lean On Me, or you look at the role Morgan Freeman played in his rugby movie that he made. I mean, these people are, Nelson Mandela did big things, and I mean, you just have to look at those also and just pull from everywhere. But number one would have to be my father. My father, I call him my father. He's actually my stepfather. He raised 3 kids that were not his. 3 kids that my mom already had, came in, stepped in, and raised us, and just always taught us hard work. Taught us about getting up early, coming home late, and just doing what you have to do, not complaining, not making excuses.
Of course, and that's very important, because a lot of people get caught up into, you have to have the same DNA. No, the one that is there, the one that you go to bed at night, that's who you see, the one that you wake up, that's the father, that's the dad. So more props to him for that.
Yeah, big time.
Do you think poets and artists are viewed differently from back in the days to now?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially if you consider what a rap artist is considered right now, it's almost an embarrassment, to be honest. I wouldn't want to walk around the street and talk to a person who doesn't listen to rap and tell them that I'm a rap artist without letting them hear my music to understand where I'm actually coming from. And I think poets, even though they're not well known, they're looked at as people who are introspective, and they're thinking, and they're writing their true emotions out there, which I think is really a misconception, because a poet is a rapper and a rapper is a poet. All you're missing is the music. So I really feel like the perception and the reality need to be melded, which I think we probably just need some better rappers out there.
Surely, because and what you said is absolutely true, because with my Caribbean background, we call it dub poetry, where you have the music and then you spitting your words, which is the same thing as a rapper. So absolutely, it all comes from the same house. Where do you see poetry placed right now in the 21st century?
I think it's on the rise right now. I really feel like more and more people are just searching for something that has some meaning. And as I said, we're not getting enough of that from rap. So people are looking in different places, and when you see on YouTube this venue where you can just put something out and people can just share it, and we see it all the time with spoken word artists who just got caught at a college or at some kind of an open mic, and then the video just blows up. So I really see a new deaf poetry coming out, and some more of those kind of shows, because there is a want for it. So I think it's growing.
I absolutely agree with you, because nowadays, I noticed before they had it as if poetry was more for the females, but I see the brothers stepping up and they're bringing it to another level, where, you know, the depths is just that it can't be reached. And I love where it's going. Because like you said, because with the poetry, they're taking it to another level. It's conscious. It's knowledge. That's school.
Exactly.
When I listen to your music, I feel the power of your words just transcends through every single word. You know, tell me about the mixtape that you have.
So yeah, I've been working for over the last year and really got pretty serious about it when I came down here to Miami, and we've just been doing what's happened for me over a year. Just doing that in song, and really that mixtape is a year of my life. And I've just done whatever I could to put as much variety in there, to show as much of myself and stay as true to myself as I possibly could.
Yes.
Definitely learned a lot of things along the way when it comes to picking beats and deciding what songs to make, but I'm still proud of all the music I've made, and really proud of where I'm going, where I can already see the growth over just that short amount of time.
Of course. Because I saw that people going crazy over something like the blues and Grow Up.
Yeah. Those two songs, two of my more recent songs, definitely got a lot of love, especially Grow Up, because it really came from an emotional time in my life where I was frustrated. I was really frustrated by the Trayvon Martin reaction. Not that I don't believe a lot of bad things happen. I do believe that injustices happen. But it takes something like that to make the black community stand up. And you get Al Sharpton coming out, you get Reverend Jesse Jackson coming out, but we never come out when things really need to be addressed, where we can actually make some change amongst ourselves. So that song came to me really easily.
Okay, so since you talk about that one that came to you easy, did you ever have a song that was just hard to write? You find the first verse, but you just can't get the middle, the second. You have a song like that?
Yeah, well, actually, I had a poem like that, and I had this idea for probably 5 years. It's as hard as A to Z. And the idea was to, A to Z is easy, but it's in our community you have to be hard. And we make everything hard, even though it could be very simple. So that was the basic idea, and it was how can I use every letter in the alphabet to speak to a younger generation. They're making their life a lot harder than it has to be. And to find something that fit with every letter was difficult over time, but like always, something came to me when the time was right, and it finally came together, and I'm really proud of that song.
Skool, please let our viewers know where they can find you and book you.
They can find me at all the social networking sites, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, at SKOOLFL, and then on my website, SKOOLFL.com.
Great. Do you have any shout-outs for anyone?
Definitely have to shout out my brother, Triple Threat. Grew up with him since we were about 13 years old. We do everything together, doesn't matter what it is. And then Nate at Ross Nate Productions, always putting it out for me, doing whatever he can to get my name out there. And then the Lighthouse. The Lighthouse for having me. It's been a great experience. Thank you guys for having me here.
And it was our pleasure. You know, when you get your doctorates, come back.
Definitely.
Talk to us. Let us know what's going on with the teaching, personal training. I might have to hire you.
Always ready.
Yes, but here at the Lighthouse, we have a food for thought moment. So I chose His Imperial Majesty. The means of destroying poverty and ignorance are education and work. Unless each being be sound, the whole structure of the house can't be firm. Political and economic progress must go hand in hand. I couldn't say it better than His Imperial Majesty.
Great, definitely.
And I think with you, with the education pushing it, I said this just fits your cause. So I just wish you nothing but continual success.
Thank you, same to you.
And now if you want to see what else he can do, you saw the spoken words. We're going to take Skool into the booth.
Yeah, Skool.
And let him do what he does best.
I told y'all I seek knowledge, but still it's some shit I just can't understand.
I promised you, Skool got his thing on lock. After you see how he does his thing, you're going to want to book him. Check him out, SkoolFL.com. Do your thing.
Yeah. Outcast. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Andre 3K. Did a cover cause I'm hooked on this content. Like it was some free base, a legend in the game, still driving on the freeway. If he wanna let me hold the baton, I run the realest dude relay. Dropping subtle hints about how life could be better. I hope people listen and stop chasing after cheddar. But they all rats and mice, you know they won't stop scurrying. Or maybe it's a bunch of cows and timid sheep hurrying. Talking this and that, though they not saying much. I heard them straight to a ledge. Decide to turn and face me or you jump into your death. Or what's this? I swear it's like it's cool to be a dummy. Don't know how to work, but they all want the money. If it really wasn't real, it would probably be funny. Are you going or you coming? Can barely even walk, talking about how you run it. You need to seek knowledge, don't be scared of it. Yeah.
Your books, seek knowledge. You know what it is. Listen to Skool. Get you back in school. Never quit.